man. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is time.
Towel is keeping our Trader Joe's warm.
Yes, it is. It is. It is time for the Sports Porch Black and Gold. Thank you for being here. We are live right now all over the friggin' world. Yes, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on X, and on Instagram. And we are very, very happy to be here, aren't we?
Oh, yes, we are. Absolutely.
Hey, it's Monday. We're here every Monday.
It's another show.
Welcome to the porch.
And I want to remind everybody, and thank you for watching, of course. You can follow us. Our podcast, we drop right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcast. And, of course, you can follow us on YouTube, youtube.com/ The Sports Porch Podcast, and drop a comment, get yourself into the show.
That's right.
And yes, you can also listen on our sister station, as Schwaber likes to call it, Radio PGH. I dropped a comment in all of our socials right now. Radio PGH, listen live to the Sports Porch pre and post game, although I didn't catch all the pregame.
Yeah.
Oh, we were pre-gaming. You were upstairs.
I know.
Cooking.
By the way, something I didn't tell you before, I come bearing gifts today.
Oh, no.
But we will do this before the Trader Joe's segment.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Before the Trader Joe's segment.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So what do we do here? This is Pittsburgh's only and best independent sports show. 3 lifelong sports fans, one from Pittsburgh, one from nowhere, one from Philadelphia. And we talk about all things truth. It's our feelings. Our feelings are true. Our feelings are true.
They're wrong sometimes,
But they're true.
they're true to us.
They're true feelings. That's right. Schwaber, you're the psychologist.
I feel like you're getting a little
Off track.
off track.
Am I Pat off track right now?
This is Chris off track.
All right, Chris off
It
track.
happens.
So tonight we're going to talk about the Steelers. Of course, we're going to give our thoughts on Najee Harris, and they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. And what do we see going forward with that? We're going to talk NHL playoffs. The Penguins. We all know the Penguins are out of the playoffs right now. Could there be some big changes? Hockey Jesus. We'll talk about that, and also we will talk about Hockey Jesus's YouTube stick. Man, I can't express to you. Do you feel pride? Do you feel like you're proud of our boy here?
It's like watching your son graduate college.
I'll be doing that on Thursday.
Yeah, that's. I don't know if it's quite like that. I'm not really sure my sons are gonna graduate college.
Well,
Not everybody needs to graduate college.
That's true. That's another show.
Right.
That's
The
a
world
totally
needs
other
ditch diggers too, Danny.
And of course, I know. And for me, you're going to have to dig a really deep ditch. So
you need to be more than 6 feet under.
that's right. It's going to be like
Keep
more
you
like
down.
36 feet under. What did you say? To keep
you down.
To keep me down?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
You know,
Yeah.
Let's get to
I'll
it.
debate that later when I'm taking a dump. Anyway, so
that's a good time to debate yourself.
yeah, I do that all the time.
Despicable and disgusting.
We're obviously going to talk about the Pirates because
Oh.
we're going to have a Buccos report because we have to, and I can't wait for that. We have the Trader Joe's product of the week. This is going to be a fun one. I think we're going to enjoy it. We have what we're watching, which is a fan favorite, what we're streaming online. All 3 of us have different things, and I think sort of relevant things going on right now. I can't wait to get to HJ's. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay.
And the Grand Schwabini is obviously going to do a prediction.
Of course.
I think we'll do that after the Steelers update. Is that
After the
best
Steelers
spot?
update. Yep, you got it.
Okay, so if you want to get into the show and you want to talk about anything that we're talking about here, drop a comment. We try to get everybody in the show. We really enjoy that. And on Instagram, if you're watching, I don't get the comments in the same place, so I have to keep my eyes in 2 different places at once. No comments, please.
Try to keep it simple, and maybe if you just stay in one spot, you'll run the show smoothly, TD.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to start right now with Hockey Jesus, okay? Because we're going to get this out of the way, all right?
Out of the way. How can you say that about hockey?
Yeah.
I mean,
the Pens aren't in the
That's
playoffs.
blasphemous.
You just praised him. And now you're saying, let's just get that out of the way.
You're right. Of course,
it doesn't make any sense.
You could follow Hockey Jesus on YouTube at the Sports Porch Podcast. During the regular season, Hockey Jesus preaches after every single game on the podcast and on YouTube, and he gives you his honest truth. Right now, Hockey Jesus is going to preach about the Stanley Cup playoffs.
There's our number one fan, Amy.
There she is.
Yeah, wifey
the number
here.
one wifey.
Are you going to get her a wifey shirt for Mother's Day?
No,
I like it.
No, although I will tell you, I did extend one of our well-known nicknames. Amy has a thing she does where when she goes shopping, she says she's gonna like go to Target and that's it.
Right.
And then hours later and 4 stores later, she comes back in the house. Like, and I'm thinking, like, I'm concerned. Has she died somewhere?
Right.
Is she in a car
she's
accident?
Just shopping.
But you know what? I finally labeled it as Amy off track.
There it is. Yes.
Amy off track.
Yeah, but in her mind, it's Amy on track.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
She knew exactly what she was doing.
I think she understands she's Amy off track in those situations.
Yeah,
maybe.
But it's not an unusual thing. I mean, when Susan goes to the store, does she often, get off track?
I encourage her to get off track.
There you go.
Because I don't want to go. I mean, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going, you can go all day if you like. That's fine with me.
Right.
It's kind of like, when we go down to the strip, we end up smoking a cigar. Maybe we'll go to, Woolies. Maybe we'll go to Penn Mac. Maybe we'll go get a chicken sandwich. You don't know where we're going to end up.
No.
And you know what? Our wives don't want to know either.
Well, that's definite. Amy says no, she is off track. Okay, HJ, your last NHL playoff update was 2 nights ago.
Yeah, it was a few nights ago. There were still 2 7-game series to finish up. The Boston was finishing up, and Dallas was finishing up against Vegas Golden Knights. Boston was playing against Toronto. Now, remember, Boston went up 3-1 against Toronto, and then Toronto tied it 3-3.
I know, they made a series of it. Yep.
And I'll tell you, actually, the Game 7s I watched were very good, but in a very different way. Like, I had the feeling like Dallas was just gonna murder Vegas for some reason. Right. I don't know why, but I thought they were just gonna beat them 4-1. Now that didn't happen, but Dallas did end up winning the game. And honestly, it's all about Ottinger. If you watch the guy play goal, when he gets focused, you can't get the puck by him. He's one of those goalies now that it's just like you have to either push him over or you have to stand right in front of him so he can't see the puck.
Right.
But he was unstoppable. I mean, Dallas, they're my Stanley Cup winner. So for them to go to Game 7 in round 1 actually isn't surprising against Vegas.
Well, they had to beat the champs.
Yeah, and
that's
Vegas,
something.
Vegas was very confident about beating Dallas too. I think it's really going to be interesting watching Dallas play against Colorado because they have totally different styles. Look, Vegas, I think, made a mistake. Right. They went out and got Thomas Hertl,
right,
and he didn't perform for them well at all. Aiden Hill was actually the star of that game, and the only reason Dallas won was because I don't remember the guy's name. Maybe it was Dadnoff or somebody literally stood right in front of him while Foxa had this wicked backhand, and it went off the post to go.
Right. Yeah, I saw that shot. It almost kind of looked like, I don't think he was really looking or directing it. It was just kind of like, let's put it on net, and hey, it was perfect.
It was and that's what that's what happens. Yeah. And the goalie, there's no way the goalie could have done anything about that. So Dallas moves on. Boston, Toronto.
How about that bounce? To right in front of the net.
I don't even know how that happens. It's like the hockey god smiling on Boston and frowning upon Toronto in the overtime period. But if you think about it, Dallas scores the first goal in the Game 7 and they get the win. 75% of the time you win the game when you score the first goal in the Game 7. And in the Boston game, Toronto actually scored the first goal with 10 minutes left. And I'm like, oh, man, Toronto might do it. And that would have knocked Boston out for the second time in a row after being up 3-1 because Florida did it last year. And I'm thinking, actually, Toronto's got this, but hold your horses. About 2 minutes later, Boston scores out of nowhere. It was a terrible goal to let in. Samsonov really didn't belong in there, but their other goalie, Shilov, Shilov, I'm saying it wrong, but it's like that. Silovs. It's Silovos.
Solovasov.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Mark.
Perfect.
And He couldn't go. I don't know what happened, if he was injured or he had a headache. It boggles my mind that a goalie's just not ready to go in a game 7. And Samsonov gives up that cheap one, and then, like Mark said, in overtime, some Toronto fans were posting that pass. They were like, "Look, this is icing," but I'm sorry, Toronto fans. I wanted Toronto to win. I think I actually had them beating Florida, by the way. So I'm really sucking wind by Toronto losing this game. But anytime you come to the center ice, as long as your stick goes over the center ice, they're gonna say it's okay.
Yeah.
And now maybe the puck actually left the right before the center ice. By the way, this is on an icing call. And an icing call has to go past 2 red lines.
Right.
The center red line and the back red line. That's an icing call. And what they're saying is he shot it and the puck left his stick before the red line. And it doesn't matter. If it looks like it's good enough, they're just going to call it.
Yeah.
And that's just, it happens so fast. Like, you can slow the game down like that. But the bounce was ridiculous. It bounced right to Pasternak, who actually made a great play to score the goal. And that puts him playing tonight. You can see the game behind me right now. Bobrovsky's not playing great, but I think Florida as a team really has the best team. There's only been one game in the second round that's been played. New York beat Carolina yesterday afternoonish, 1-0. New York's up. By the way, the Rangers are undefeated in the playoffs, and that really pains me to say. Of all the teams that are left, I think I'd even be happy. Now, I wouldn't be happy if Boston won, but it would be, I don't want New York to win. I don't want Boston to win, and anybody else can win after that. Even Florida, I think they're playing great. The series I'm definitely watching, that Colorado-Dallas series, is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be great hockey. I don't know. If Colorado can continue scoring 3 and 4 goals, they've got a chance of beating Dallas. But I think this is the series where Ottinger shows up. I think he's probably going to take out Colorado, and it's probably going to take 6 or 7 games. Edmonton and Vancouver, they're saying Demko might be back in round 2. That would be a good sign for Vancouver if they got their number 1 goalie back. But I like Edmonton there. Really like Edmonton.
All I know is in the bracket, in the NHL bracket, the Hockey Jesus Challenge.
Yeah,
I picked Edmonton to win the cup. So I'm still in it. I'm still in it.
You're definitely in it, because Edmonton actually, I would say, of the teams that are playing now, I would say Edmonton probably has the best chance of sweeping Vancouver in this round.
I haven't looked at the bracket since I selected it.
I didn't look at the score.
Okay.
Now, actually, let's have a little hockey fun here. Okay.
All right.
Because this should be an extremely easy question. Since you took the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
Who is the best player on the Edmonton Oilers?
Oh, Wayne Gretzky.
There you go.
Current player.
I know. I baited you. I have a habit of doing that. Connor McDavid.
There you go.
Yeah, see, I've learned something. I've absolutely learned something. I mean, I know he's the best player. He's the only player, and I'm going to delete this comment right here because I have no idea who it is. But if you want to leave a relevant comment, you can do that. And no, I'm not sending you money because my long lost aunt has died in Nigeria and left me $400 million. And all I have to do is send you 10,000.
That's really great.
That's
a good deal.
It is a good deal.
That is a good deal.
It's not one I'm willing to take
$400 million.
I didn't know you had family in Nigeria.
Yeah, I didn't either. So,
so that's what I'm looking for in the second round of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. I like Florida. I like Carolina. Somebody's got to beat the Rangers. I like Dallas and Edmonton. Those will be the Eastern and Western Conference final games.
The next edition of the Hockey Jesus NHL playoffs update will be.
Oh, it has to be either tonight or tomorrow. I'm not going to do it tonight because I'm here.
You're here, yeah.
Yeah, so I will absolutely have a new one out tomorrow. I wanted to wait until everybody played the one game, but for some reason, Edmonton and Vancouver do not play until 10 o'clock on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's their first game. By that time, Boston will have played 2 games, and Carolina and New York will have played 2 games. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Now, will you be in Philadelphia at that point, right?
Don't matter.
Yeah.
I won't.
I love that.
I won't have the banners behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll take a picture and
there you go.
And, we can do virtual background.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That could
I hate the virtual background because if you move too much, and I like to talk with my hands,
right?
Yeah.
And it makes your hands disappear.
Yeah. Well, that happens all the time. You're Jesus, so
that's true.
Jesus.
So I guess
you
it's
make miracles happen.
Yeah.
Maybe that's appropriate.
Would it be a miracle if your hands disappeared?
No.
It would be a pretty bad thing for me. Okay, you can always catch the Hockey Jesus on the Sports Porch Podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. And you can also watch him right after most Penguins games during the regular season, and hopefully next year during the playoffs.
Hey, speaking of the Penguins, let's slide this in before we get out of hockey.
All right. Well, hey, you know how much we like sliding things in.
Hey, we like to slide it in right at the
disgusting.
end, especially.
Yep.
Despicable.
The Pittsburgh Penguins fired Todd Reardan.
Oh, yeah. We were supposed to talk about that.
No.
Does that make a difference? I mean, was he really responsible for how crappy the power play was this year?
Well, I mean, the players are ultimately responsible. Let's just say it as it is. However, they're going to have to get somebody in there who's going to either listen to the new coach, or their power play's not going to get better. I mean, he was the scapegoat for sure, much like Matt Canada was the scapegoat for the Steelers' offensive woes. He'll probably get picked up by somebody. I mean, he was a head coach in the NHL for a while. I honestly think they probably need to fire more than him. I'm not a big fan of firing Sully at this point, but maybe that's what needs to happen. Look, we'll talk about off-season moves for the Penguins on a future broadcast, so please stop in for that. But my point with any other moves, or if you're going to make moves in the front office, coaching staff, I'm fine with that. I just hope that they can finally get a team that they can keep together and not make too many big changes. This team has been through a lot of changes the past 3 years. I've said it a lot, and I would just like to see them go into the regular season with the team they have, with the coaching staff that can coach them, and the players that will listen.
Right.
That's a lot to ask for, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as always, Hockey Jesus, your wisdom is second to none, actually.
Don't forget Midnight Mass.
And
that's on
exactly.
Netflix, right?
All right, follow Hockey Jesus on YouTube at the Sports Porch Podcast. And catch the Sports Porch Podcast anywhere you get your podcast. Subscribe, leave a review, follow us on YouTube, the Sports Porch Podcast. Now we're going to move on to something that really has getting my goat.
Get your gander.
It gets my goat. This is the Buccos Report, and there's not a lot of reporting to do
because they don't score runs.
This is by far, and I'm having a screen issue here, so I can't pull up their stats. It's really kind of aggravating me at this point right now.
I'll give you their stats. They score 1 run every game.
No,
do you remember at the beginning of the season when everybody was talking about, it's actually a better lineup this year?
Yes, yeah. That's
and now their best player is Connor Joe.
That's
right.
I'm gonna go. Okay, stats up here. I submit to you.
Play the field.
I'm having a little issue here with
I'm loving that little beat
screens.
Let's keep it
now.
Be a simpleton.
I have no idea what's going on.
Be a simpleton.
I will submit to you that they have the absolute, and I don't think there's anybody that's going to disagree with me right now. They have the absolute worst lineup in baseball. They do not field a Major League Baseball team, and I am including Brian, what's his name?
Reynolds.
That's right. And I'm just going to call him Brian, what's his name from now on,
Reynolds.
Because I mean, we're supposed to have, this incredible new lineup with a guy named O'Neill Cruz.
Who hit 2 home runs over the week?
He did.
A little better.
He did.
Strikeouts.
But the real issue is that if he hit a ball into the river, well, it bounced into the river. The real issue is
then he hit another one. You thought it was a home run. He stood there and he got a single.
that's exactly right. So
this is the kind of players the Pirates get. I mean, why I don't understand why you're so surprised by it.
Yeah. Let's just go down. Here's what we're going to do. The Pirates are actually right now. They're actually leading, from what I can see, they're leading the Angels 4-0. So I'm going to go to the box score.
They scored.
Okay,
Jared Jones.
I'm going to go to the box score.
I think the Pirates have 2 players hitting over 245.
Connor Joe, I think hitting like 250.
Once again, we have McCutchen leading off, batting a blistering 178. I'm going to talk about each of these players.
That's not good for scoring.
Brian Reynolds is in second now. He is 2 for 3 tonight, so 252.
There you go.
Brian Hayes, he's 0 for 2 at 250. Connor Joe, 0 for 3, 282. Olivares is 2 for 2, 224. Bart, who is now catching, 194. O'Neill Cruz, 238. Triolo, 223. Michael Taylor, 232. It actually looks a lot better than it did 4 days ago. Okay. Because at one point it was like 6 out of 9. Right. 6 out of 9 were batting under 200.
It's still not good.
It's time. Look, if this was any other team, if this was Schwaber's team, the Phillies, if this was my team, the Orioles, if this was the Chicago Cubs, if it was any other team, the manager would be fired by now.
Yeah.
Yes. You're talking.
Oh no, you're right.
Right.
But I mean, this is not a Major League Baseball.
That's
my point. That's my point.
You're really talking about the Pirates.
Yeah, you really can't fire him because he doesn't have any tools to succeed.
I mean, you can make that argument, but he also, I mean, this is like lineup number 37, in how many games? You know what I mean? In 36 games. So it's like let these guys settle in and give them some players. And it's the 5th year of the Charrington 5-year rebuild, and it's 100% obvious that the rebuild is not a rebuild. And I think at the end, go ahead, give me your butt, HJ. Just give it to me.
This is the 4th version of the 5-year fix.
Right.
So who cares if there's a 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th version?
Right.
We're used to it. So it doesn't really matter. You know what really matters? 2 things. Jared Jones, and when are they going to bring up Skeens? That's the only thing that matters to the Pittsburgh Pirates this season.
And to the fans, to be honest
that's
with you.
it. That's all that matters. Everybody knows that Kutch is going to retire after this year. I wish he wouldn't complain so much. He should realize that he should be lucky to be able to be on a pseudo MLB team.
Right.
So that he could hit his 300th home run, which he did.
Right.
So he should just go off into the sunset with his mouth quiet.
Yes.
Because he's not good anymore.
That's true.
And he should be happy he's playing on the Major League I say a Major League Baseball team in quotes because it's the Pirates. And you know what? This is the problem with the Pirates year in, year out. We can cite statistics, we can cite blah, we can cite blah. The reality
Could you explain to me what blah and blah are?
Blah is what happens at the beginning of the season when we realize who they are. Blah is what happens by the middle of the season when we know they're no longer relevant.
And thank God is what happens at the end of the season when it's finally over.
But that's why we have to look forward to schemes. Oh, by the way, I heard an interview with Jared Jones. You're gonna like this. Jared Jones actually knows Paul Skeens pretty good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess they know each other. And guess what they do together? They play Fortnite together. That's right, kids. Yeah. They play Fortnite together. So I think they're gonna be a good duo, the two of them together. The problem is if they can't bring O'Neill Cruz into their trio in this Fortnite game, it's useless because they got to have a hitter in that trio, right? You got to either have a good leadoff hitter and or a good power hitter. And I don't think Sawinski, although he had a walk-off last couple nights ago, I don't think he's the guy either.
It was a walk-off single, and the Pirates only scored 1 run. They couldn't say, I mean, they got lucky.
Right.
They got lucky.
So, I mean, that's the reality for the Pirates. There's no sense getting excited about them. There's no sense getting down on them. We know who they are. I think we should just enjoy their shittiness.
Yeah.
I mean, I have for 20 years.
We're trying.
And
now
look forward to when you have new talent coming up like Jared Jones, who seems to be a real major league pitcher, gives you a chance.
Yeah.
Look, he's not very good against the good teams, but that's okay for us. We just don't want to be the worst teams.
Now
and that's where we are right now. We need to get better. We need to beat the bad teams again.
Now, speaking of Jones, I mean, he is an exciting young pitcher. You know, he's got 52 strikeouts in 41 innings pitched. He started 7 games. He is 2-3, but that's a lack of run support. And he's only given up 5 walks. So,
yeah, he's got good control.
He's got a hell of a fastball, and he's also got a very competitive mentality. And he's going to be great for the Dodgers.
Yeah, he will. But you know what he said? He said he didn't do anything different this year than he did last year. And last year he was terrible in AAA. He just says that he's finding he's hitting the strike zone more, and he doesn't even really know why. But he's always been able to throw hard, he says. But when he's confident in a confident pitcher, as long as he can stay in that zone, then he's going to be a good pitcher for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
and it's weird, though, that like he can't say like exactly why this year, like everything's working out. I think it's because he's got no pressure on him. I bet last year in AAA, he was really pushing to get up to the big leagues. And when you push like that, you know, he even says he'll overthrow the ball. I mean, the guy throws in the hundreds all the time.
Yeah.
So I think this year he's just calm about it.
Well, it sounds like their one success story has nothing to do with coaching.
That's exactly right.
Because if he was coached to do something else, he would have known what he was doing.
That's very true. And Kyle finally gets into the show here. He's been trying so hard. We'll put this comment up, Kyle, because you're right. 1, 2, 3 strikes, the Pirates are out. Yeah, and I'm
wondering if Kyle watched the roast of Tom Brady.
I don't.
I bet he did.
Yeah, well, he wanted us to hire Tom Brady. He wants the Pirates to hire Tom Brady. He made a Taylor Swift Fortnite comment.
He's absolutely right on that Fortnite by Taylor Swift comment.
Really?
Spot on there. Kyle.
Why is that?
Oh my God!
Is it good or something?
Is it a good song?
It's the first song on the new album.
It always comes back to Taylor Swift.
The Dead Poets Society.
You know what Taylor Swift is for this show? Taylor.
That was Robin Williams.
Taylor Swift is the Kevin Bacon of this show. We've got to draw it all the way back to Taylor Swift somehow.
Yeah, eventually all roads do lead
back to Swift. Yeah, back to Swift. Here's the one thing I'll say about
easier with football now.
Here's the one thing I'll say about Jared Jones, and this is so indicative of Pirates media, Pirates fan, Pirates, you know, how we try to, we hope, we wish, we pray. He started 7 games in the major leagues. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Let's kind of
pump the brakes.
Yes.
You got it.
Pump the brakes.
You get it. What we've seen so far, first of all, is something that is astronomically better than anyone expected.
True.
Second, he was horrible in AAA last year.
He was.
And third, what you said, when a pitcher says, hey, I'm not really sure how I'm getting it around the strike zone, that worries me.
Yeah. Could he turn into Nick LaLoosh? He did say he had a tendency to overthrow the ball. And now that he feels like he's got good control, he's not trying, he's not pushing as much.
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe is once he gets into a high pressure game, he's gonna be terrible.
Yeah. So I mean, I look, all credit to Jared Jones. He is so far in the first 30 games of the season, his first 7 major league starts. You know, he's throwing like a veteran. Hopefully he has the attitude and the mentality to keep doing that. We all know that, you know, it's a different game between AAA and here.
Let's bring it to the Steelers,
and they get into your head. Well, I do want to mention that Bailey Falter is pitching tonight, and
he got the win
so far. Well, not yet. The game's not over yet.
Come on, they're going to win. They scored 4 runs.
Yeah,
they're into the bullpen.
I told you about Falter. He's good for half a year.
That's what I'm saying.
Implode.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am completely wrong. I thought Bailey Falter. It's Mitch Keller's pitching tonight, and he's actually actually pitching a pretty good game. 6 innings, 4 hits, a run, a walk, 3 Ks. But his ERA at right now is 4.70. But before the game, it was 5.18.
Mm-hmm.
And what did I talk about? Got his big contract.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to play that hard anymore.
No.
I mean,
I'm
look,
sure
face
he's out there trying.
Let's face it. So, as the season goes on, as I promised, if the Buccos get over 500, I will bring back the Buccos report on a more than weekly
semi-regular basis.
Why don't you actually even go, further down that hole? Why don't you tell us that you'll give us a Buccos report if they make the wild card?
Yeah. How about if I do that? Yeah. Hey, if they make the wild card, I'll dress up like a pirate and I'll walk down Walnut Street.
There you go.
Side.
There you go.
Acting like Johnny Depp.
There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
You heard it. You heard it here first.
Giving the Buccos report live.
I'm gonna in the Captain Jack Sparrow voice, which I'm so good at doing.
Never happening.
All right, we dropped the Sports Porch Podcast right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. That's it for the Buccos report. Go Bucks.
Let's bring it back to the Steelers.
All righty, and this is where Kyle says we have to insert Pittsburgh Property Diva ad right here. That's my ad for the night. So now let's move on to the Steelers.
The Steelers.
That's right. Najee must ball this year. Who will be the better running back now that they didn't pick up well, first of all, do you think they did the right thing not picking up his option?
Yeah.
Okay. How about you?
Yes, I do.
Well, here's
all right. Let's move on to the Trader Joe's product of the week.
Well, not that I want to stand between you and food.
Yeah, right.
But Najee actually, they may end up picking up next year anyways. They're like, why should we just say we'll give him the 5th year this year? I actually think he'll probably be a better running back because he's playing for a contract.
You got it.
So why not? Well, it doesn't hurt anything. And if you want to sign him at that same price next year, the price isn't high.
Right.
It's the running backs don't get anything anymore. So I think it's the right business move. I mean, that's just the way I feel. How about you, Mark?
Yeah. I mean, look, the bottom line is he's okay. He's not bad. I mean, he's like a sort of good running back, and
that's high praise.
And so the bottom line is, look, go out there and show us something this year with a new offensive coordinator, and
better offensive line,
better quarterback play. Hopefully, show us something. If you show us something, you'll be back, and if not, then it's time to see you later, and we'll draft a running back next year.
Yeah. And if he doesn't want to come back and he gets a bigger contract elsewhere,
that's fine.
Good for him. Yeah. Right. I mean,
I don't know what all the hubbub was about. Should they pick him up? Should they pick it up? Shouldn't they pick it up? I mean,
well, it's because he was a 1st-round draft pick.
Well, I get it. I get it. But after 3 years as a 1st-round draft pick, you now know what you're getting with Najee Harris. If he has a better offensive line, I honestly don't think you're going to get much more. I mean, maybe.
No, I think he's a very consistent running back. I think he's good for 1,000 yards. I think he's good for 20 to 30 catches and, a few touchdowns. That's it. I mean, that's who he is. It's not like he's going to break the bank of other people who want to get him. But I think for that reason, if he doesn't sign with the Steelers next year, somebody will give him a contract.
Yeah.
He's good enough to get another contract.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I didn't understand why anybody really cared whether or not they picked up his option. That
it's more of an indictment on the Steelers drafting.
Right.
Because if you don't pick up that 5th year, basically you're saying your 1st-round pick was a bust.
Yeah.
Right.
That's really what people are saying when they're saying, oh, they're not picking him up. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. We suck at drafting.
Yeah. And I would agree.
Did back then.
I would agree with the idea that he wasn't really given the best chance, considering that the last 2 years he had rookie quarterback, fairly bad offensive line. But at the same time, and we went over this game after game, since he's been drafted, when they did produce holes, it seemed like he couldn't find them.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
but that's why I'm saying he's a good running back. He doesn't make very many mistakes. The guy tries really hard, but he's just not a great talent. I mean, that's it. And you don't get guys with great talent very often anyway. So I don't think that the pick is a bust.
Well, they did a thing.
But it wasn't a home run.
I think I said it to you guys. There was, what was it? Half of the 5th-year options were picked up and half weren't.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what the first round is. It's a crapshoot.
Now, I did see...
Well, that's with those who got to the 5th. Because the really good ones are getting that 5th-year contract in their second, third year.
Right. Like Devontae Smith got it. Now it's his 3rd year.
Yeah, third year. They're not going to wait till next year.
Didn't Travis Etienne, they picked up his 5th-year option, and I saw a comparison of statistics, and his were remarkably worse than Najee Harris's.
Yeah, but he's
been injured,
but he had injuries.
He's got flash too.
Etienne's
got that ability to hit the home run.
Yeah,
Najee's not going to do that. That's not the kind of running back he is.
Warren or Najee this year? Now we have a new offensive coordinator. Warren or Najee this year? Who do you think they try to bring to the forefront? Do you think they stick with Najee?
Yeah, they're going to stick with Najee. They're going to run him into the ground. That's what they do with all their running backs.
Yeah, and it's still going to be a 2-back attack.
It will, but it'll be 65-35.
CD's in the house, same every year. 50% get 5th year or extended. Yeah, we understand. Thanks for being here, Doc. Mike Lawrence is back in the house. Thanks for being here. I don't have a strong feeling about the Steelers picking up his 5th year. However, hasn't he rushed for more than 1,000 yards in each lesson?
Exactly, Mike.
Yeah, but it's 17 games now.
Well, and it
doesn't matter. I mean, he's just consistent. I think Mike brings up the point that I was trying to make. Thank you for bringing it up, Mike. He's a good running back.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't run for 1,000 yards 3 years in a row and not be considered a good running back.
Right. Yeah. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think any of them were great. I think they were all like 1,017 yards.
It wasn't like 1,200.
Right. It wasn't like 1,500. Right.
He didn't have a 70-yard run in there.
Right.
I mean, he gets it 6-8 yards at a time.
Right. He gets you 60, 70 yards a week, basically.
Yeah. And CD makes another point we've been talking about. The O-line drives the running back success. Najee goes off only if the O-line is better. And we can say that they did the right thing this year by really stocking up on the offensive line, but we're not. And these guys have two of them at least have a very high pedigree, and the third guy is probably, he could end up being pretty decent and a starter maybe next year, maybe by the end of the year. But it's really going to depend on what happens in the first couple games. We'll see if the picks they made are a big improvement over what they had. You don't know until they hit the field,
right?
But I think that they will. And one more, the Doc's doing some math. 60 yards per game. That's right. He's not a game breaker. He's not a game breaker. But
30 minutes in, we can't do math.
Yeah. Thanks. We're starting to get hungry here. Brother. But before we get hungry, we also are going to bring in our prognosticator, the Grand Schwabini, who is going to make a prediction about the Steelers.
Yes.
And take it away, Your Highness.
So the Grand Schwabini has spent some time forecasting the future. And he decided, who is going to be the Steelers' biggest signing post-draft? Free agent signing. We know they are after a wide receiver.
They need one.
But it doesn't seem like any of the big names are necessarily coming our way. It seems like if that was going to happen, it probably would have happened around the draft.
Or
what?
Maybe they are going to get somebody.
Or maybe they are going to get somebody.
Come on,
but Schwalbini. The Grand Schwabini is going to bring it to you.
He likes to drag it out.
The Grand Jefferson. Come on, Schwalbini.
The Grand Schwabini is going to give it to you in truth. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and try to predict something crazy for you because I can only tell you what the gods tell me. Okay, and the gods tell me that your second receiver on the Pittsburgh Steelers is going to be.
He looks at his notes.
Former New Orleans Saint Michael Thomas.
No way. Really?
Okay.
30,
Write that down.
It's a hot take.
He is 31 years old, 6'3", 212. Only played 7 games since 2019, but a very good short area route runner.
That makes sense for us.
Very good at run blocking and has very strong hands. Somebody reliable and somebody who could potentially go back into the bottle and realize some of his past success.
There you go.
The Grand Schwabini tells all.
Okay, Michael Thomas. You heard it here first.
First of
on
all,
the porch.
yeah. First of all, who doesn't love a man with strong hands?
You're creeping me out.
Yep, as usual. Second of all, when you bring up a couple things, he's strong over the middle, short route runner.
Sure.
And he hasn't played a whole lot because he's been injured. I think bingo, that's exactly who the Steelers would bring in.
He's not going to cost a fortune.
Right.
You could bring him in.
He's Allen Robinson.
He's Allen Robinson, but
he's not going to cost that much.
With way more upside.
Yeah, I agree.
He's not going to cost as much, and he has way more upside. Like if he's on the Steelers this year, you could potentially see him, if he stays healthy, getting 800 yards, 7 touchdowns.
That'd be a good pickup. Whoever they get, that's what you want.
Yeah,
you want to get 750 to 1,000 yards from that.
What leads you to believe that, Grand Schwabini?
Because he's still sitting out there.
Yeah.
And it's the easier solution than all of these receivers where you have to give them a big contract and you have to trade for him and you have to give something up.
Yeah.
Right.
So it just seems like it's going more in that direction.
Do you have any knowledge on whether or not they actually have interest? Is that anything you were reading about?
Sources tell me.
Yeah.
I do not give away my sources.
The sources stay in the genie model.
Yes.
Yeah. Schwaber sticks his head in that little bottle.
Sources talk to the Grand Schwabini.
Only the Grand Schwabini.
All right. We got to get some music for you.
I like it.
Yeah. Do you think that would be a good signing?
No. Oh yeah. No, I thought you were asking me about the music. I think music is not necessary.
Well,
but
or
I do like the idea of Michael Thomas, but much like I like the idea of the old Russ Wilson. I like the old Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Now, the new Michael Thomas, to me, it's like if he comes cheap, absolutely a great signing. But I would, probably would rather just get Tyler Boyd, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think he's a little bit more talented.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of Michael Thomas as a big body across the middle, somebody who can catch third down, first down passes. Now that Deontay's not here, that would make sense too. So no, I think it would be a good signing. I would put it up there, not with the best signing, but much further down on the list, but higher than the Allen Robinson signing.
Okay. What do you think Mike Lawrence means about this comment? I've seen a lot of speculating about the Steelers EE.
He means he's seen, there's a new receiver that they talk about every day.
Oh. Is that what EE means? Am I missing something?
Yes, that's what EE means. You don't know what EE means?
You're making that up completely.
Everybody, everyone.
Oh, I had no idea. Okay.
No, I just made that up.
That was a good one. That was excellent.
The delivery was spot on.
Actually, it was. And I think you just did something there. You created something new. Steelers Freak on YouTube is saying, I guess Austin goes on the long Colbert disappointment list.
Yeah,
Calvin Austin,
I think you're right about that, Steelers Freak.
Yeah.
And remember, he got injured his rookie season.
He didn't
really get to play. And, I guess it's hard to really gel with the team when you're not there in your first year, and then in your second year, it's your rookie year, but you've been there. So
but
it's got to be weird.
But he has one of the all-time great Sports Porch created names. CA3.
He does. I don't hear anybody using that.
No, just us.
So that's because he doesn't catch any.
I was going to say, but you damn well know if he was great, somebody else would coin it. So you should trademark that.
Yeah, trademark it.
Kind of like the 4 for 4 thing.
Yeah, I'd go to the trademark guy and they'd be like, you want to trademark CA3? What?
Yeah.
Are you delirious?
That'll be $3. Yeah, exactly.
They'll do anything for money.
I'll pay you. How's that?
I'll pay you to go away.
I'll pay you because I feel so sorry for you.
I mean, Austin still has a chance to play this year too, but at this point, he's a bitter disappointment.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit. We talk about it a lot. You know, the Colbert era is over. The last few years were basically a drafting disaster, and now you see the effect, the Weidel effect, that I'm going to trademark.
Yeah. I didn't know that it was Colbert. I thought it was Colbert.
I said Colbert, didn't I?
No, you said Colbert.
Oh, well, I'm very sorry. I'm
Kevin Colbert.
Yeah,
I thought maybe it was all the hockey stuff. You know,
no,
it was like
no, that's late night.
Lafavie
isn't Stephen
Colbert?
Stephen Colbert.
Isn't his name spelled the same?
Colbert.
Yeah,
I think it is actually.
It is. Yeah.
So
but that's not his real name anyway. So who cares?
Yeah. So is Stephen Colbert trying to play off of that French nomenclature, or I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
Yeah, you don't even know what nomenclature.
You're getting hungry. I think it's time to eat.
Nomenclature.
I don't. Pat on Track is back. Sorry, I'm late. Schwabini, good Philly start, jinx. Okay, that's another show, Pat. He's off track. I mean, he gets on the Pittsburgh show, and he's already off track.
Pat, we're in Pittsburgh right now.
Yeah,
the black and gold.
Thanks a lot.
Send him
a text. You know.
Right. Well, my friend, it's Trader Joe's time.
It is Trader Joe. This is for Trader Joe's time?
This is to start our Trader Joe's. You might want to put the Trader Joe's logo
should
up.
Should I put the Trader Joe's logo up?
Yeah.
All right.
We're about to eat.
Yeah. Should I do the Trader Joe's music? Should I do that, or should I wait?
We'll after the gift, we'll do the music.
Okay. So this is a segment of our shows.
But we love the music so much.
This is the Trader Joe's product of the week. And for those of you who don't know, and for those of you who do know, I have to say this.
I want to take that down.
Thank you.
People can
I'm
see.
Sorry. I just, I'm so excited about what I'm holding in my hand.
Yeah.
Your big strong hand.
Yes. The Trader Joe's product of the week. I work for Trader Joe's, and they're not paying us to do this, but they did give us permission to do this. We pick a
lower level staff person gave you permission.
Yeah. I'm sure she wouldn't appreciate you calling her that.
I don't think the corporate folks.
Yeah, I don't.
No, I'm sorry. By the way, you're not a lower level staff person. You're high level.
There you go. Not me. I'm not high level. I'm just.
No, I meant the person who gave you permission.
Okay,
that was rude of me.
You guys are going to get me fired, and we're not going to be able to do this anymore. Okay,
we can still go to Trader Joe's.
That's true.
Yes,
that's true.
I don't think they're going to stop you from buying their.
That's right. That's right.
Showing it to people, telling them how great it is.
Right. So low level staff person, fire away. Anyway, so I pick a product every week. I bring it in. We sample it. We give our honest opinion. We have a little bit of fun with it. And the real reason that we started this is because these guys are hungry. And every time they come to my house, the Grand Schwabini, who is like famously hungry all the time, logs many complaints that there's not any food. So,
and even today, there was nothing in the fridge.
Come on, I gave you pretzel nuggets.
You gave me some pretzels, which was nice.
You got a root beer,
which was nice, and I got a root beer. But I mean, let's be honest, there was nothing in the fridge.
Do you know how many kids out there in this world, in Africa, would kill to have pretzel nuggets and a root beer?
Okay, Dad.
I mean, could you please?
Actually, that fridge upstairs is like being a kid in Africa.
All right. Do it. So I did. So
African kids.
Do the music. I'm opening this now. This is a gift.
Yes, it's a gift. It's for you.
Oh my God. All right. This is incredible. Oh, wow. And you got it from Marshall's, one of the most exclusive stores on the planet.
Yeah.
I love Marshall's.
I love Trader Joe's cookbook.
There it is.
That's fantastic.
There it is.
There it is.
That's fantastic.
So
very nice.
So you can know what you're doing.
So I can. Oh, this is incredible. Wow. Who bought this? Amy.
Amy bought it.
This is Amy. Amy, you know what? Thank you.
Blue Light Special.
Yeah, it was.
I've made a recipe or two out of there.
She did leave the price tag on, so now I know that I am worth $12.99.
Oh no, she didn't pay that.
Yeah, I know. She's
a coupon shopper.
No, she paid full price. She paid full price.
Or is this perhaps a hint that I'm not getting complicated enough with the meals that I serve?
Oh man, this is 10th anniversary edition.
Oh yeah, that's a collector's edition.
All right, Trader Joe's. I love. Who's hungry for Trader Joe's? I love Trader Joe's cookbook. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Grand Schwabini.
You got it.
I appreciate.
You got it. That's why we're here.
I appreciate it. And now it is, of course, officially
time for the song
to start. The Trader Joe's product of the week. I really thought I started it.
That's okay, Chris. You know the detective.
I am the
This is what everybody tunes in for.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people on the line.
Yeah. Now, why is
Trader Joe's?
why is the music not playing?
It's playing in your head.
I hit the play button.
Well, something was reverberating.
Yeah, but that's. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not it.
You can figure it out, TD.
I'm gonna try.
You can do it, buddy.
That's strange.
Just
This
remember.
makes for good radio.
This is really weird. Yeah.
Taste the biscuit.
There you go, Schwalbini.
Amy says it's playing.
Oh.
Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce.
I can't
Taste the goodness of the honey sauce on the biscuit.
Yeah, I don't even. Is it still playing?
Get that honey sauce on me.
Dummy.
I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings.
Okay. All right. I'm going to stop it. Listen, guys. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear it in my headphones. Why couldn't I not hear it?
I can't hear it either. We can't hear it.
Yeah, that's really strange. Okay, the Trader Joe's product of the week this week is.
Dun dun dun.
I'm all messed up. It is something called Kimbop.
Kimbop, scuba da pop pop. Do
you know what? Do you know what Kimbop is?
It's a Korean tofu and vegetable seaweed rice roll.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. It is a Korean tofu and vegetable seaweed rice roll. And why did I pick Kimbop? Because this stuff flies off the shelf.
Does it?
Really?
Like it
How
flies
did you
off the
get
shelf.
yourself a copy of it?
We
Did you,
got
like,
a copy. I got actual Kimbop, not copies of Kimbop.
It wasn't just a picture. You got the real thing.
No, I got the real thing. I got it right here.
Oh.
Right here. All right. So,
Underneath that little towel over there.
yeah, I've got it all gussied up.
Oh.
So
Whoa.
this stuff, there's a roll for you. There you go.
We
I
each get a
can't
whole
eat a
roll.
whole roll.
We're each getting a whole roll.
Don't worry. Either I can or Mark can.
We're each getting a whole roll.
Yes, you're each getting a whole roll.
Kimbop, scuba da pop.
All right.
Trader Joe's, Kimbop.
All right. So you can either do that or you
I
can
didn't-
use the scissors.
I did not bring my chopsticks.
Here, you don't need chopsticks.
I don't need scissors.
You don't need
No,
scissors?
no, I'm a pro at this
Okay.
plastic stuff.
All right, you're a pro at the plastic stuff. All right, that's cool.
Me bop.
Then you've got the sauce you can dip it in. You can
Wait,
even
I'm
pour a
going to
little
show. I'm
sauce
going to
in
share.
there.
Look. Ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. This stuff flies off the shelves. We get 2 cases of it in the morning.
2 cases.
And
That's it.
That's it. And people come.
Where do they make it at Giant Eagle?
They come at 8 a.m. and they load up on this Kimbop, and then the rest of the day they
smell
actually
like
ask
kimchi.
for the Kimbop all day, and it's empty. Then we get the truck comes in somewhere in the late afternoon between usually 4 and 6, and there are people lined up at the freezer to get in the freezer section. There you go, Schwaber. That's how you do it. Here, I gave you a napkin, I think.
Hey, pass
right.
that sauce over this way. I'm going to try one with and without the sauce. Ah, way to go.
Sorry.
What did he do? Lick it?
Yeah, he licked it like a friggin' dog.
Like a dog. I'm a dog.
Licking it like a dog. See, I'm gonna dip it in like a human being. That looks pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty tasty. And
sauce
I
is,
wouldn't
thick.
think the tofu would be tasty, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, and from what I understand, I have been told by many of the customers at the store when I asked them about the Kimbop that it is as authentic tasting as like if you went to the actual. I had a guy, an American who lived in Korea for years,
Mm-hmm.
and he showed up with like 7 of them at the register. And he said, yeah, I lived in Korea for many years, and you get Kimbop there. It's fresh. They make it in the restaurant right in front of your face. I said, so how does this compare? He said, exactly the same thing. Yeah.
So it's like going to Korea. Is that what you're saying?
We are now in South Korea.
It
'Cause he
tastes
said
like,
he lived in South
honestly, it just tastes like a sushi roll.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Steve. Really appreciate that. We're getting a lot of comments in here. I want to get them into the show. I'm really mad about the music still.
No, they heard it.
I know, but I messed it up. So Pat says my college roommates need to get better care of themselves. Your kids really don't like you. Speak for me, please. Brought to you by Hanson. Great presentation, Chris. Is Kimbop the Eagles Rare of Trader Joe's? I don't. What's that mean?
Eagles Rare is a very fine, excellent whiskey.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, it is like a teak brother. Okay, thanks, Pat. On track.
No, I wouldn't call it the Eagles Rare. I would call it more like a
sauce.
Oh yeah, the sauce is right here. Watch out for the one side. This is the side that Mark licked. You want to stay away.
I
from
don't really
side.
care about. I don't really care.
No, I would say it's more like a Elijah Craig, like very good. Excellent, like you can eat it. It's not too spicy.
I need a little more sauce there,
but
I was saving for you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's very. It's a.
All right, here we go.
It's an upgrade to a regular sushi roll. That's the way I would say it.
There you go. Now
let me put it this way: it's way better than the stuff that they actually do make fresh for you at like Get Go.
Yeah,
think?
for sure. It's got much. It's got much more flavor.
Absolutely.
The flavor in the middle is. It's lasting. It's excellent. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, it's very good.
All right,
but I have to stop eating because I'm fasting as of now.
No, okay.
I got to get blood work tomorrow.
Oh,
so
was that frozen?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, frozen.
And it's really easy to make. You cut the corner of the package off, throw it in the nuker for 2 minutes plus.
You can take that in for lunch. Boom. Throw it in the microwave, and you're good to go.
So there it is, your Trader Joe's.
Oh wait, I forgot to look at the nutritional statistics
of the weeks. Yeah, go ahead. Look at the nutritional statistics.
Ooh. Oh, okay. So the whole container is only 420 calories. That's.
Let us
taste the biscuit.
I can't hear it.
Sodium is what gets you on these, but everything else is low.
That's really annoying.
Very low.
All right, so there you have it. Trader Joe's
12 grams of fat.
Product of the week, Kimbop. Amazing endorsement, Schwalbini. Better than gas station sushi, says CD. Pat Off Track says, I'd watch a Steve Mark show on the Food Network.
You are right now.
And Amy says, we can hear the music again. All right, I'll work on that later. So thanks to Trader Joe's for letting us do that. We really appreciate it. And look, the Kimbop, I don't want to quote the price. I want to say it's $3.99.
That's $3.99
for a roll.
That's a good price.
Yeah. I think it's
no wonder why they fly off the shelf.
And they do, and they truly do. I mean, there's like a cult that comes to get the Kimbop, and they're so happy and excited when they get it.
I think I'm going to become part of this cult. I think.
Okay, there you go. You can
8 o'clock, 8 a.m. What time you open up?
Is it the same?
8 a.m.
I could be there 4:30.
Yeah.
Is it the same crew?
There's people there.
Is it the same crew that shows up early for garage sales?
No. And at this store,
they get all the good ones. He can tell you about that.
Okay, moving on to our next segment, what we're watching. First, though, I want to thank everybody for watching. We really enjoy this. We love it. And encourage you to, listen to the podcast on the Sports Porch Black and Gold podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your freaking podcast. I got some sauce on my hand and I spilled it on the table because Mark licked the side of it. It was like spilling out.
I told you to beware that side.
I know. And
hey, you can get to me on what you're watching, and you can continue to eat.
Yeah, and I think
you want to.
We're gonna move over to what we're watching, and what that means is what are we streaming, what do we like, what do we recommend. Sometimes it's something that's, in the top 10. Sometimes it's not in the top 10. Sometimes it's a little old. Sometimes it's Klein. The first
on the other side of the Klein line.
The first part of our segment. Look, even with all this crap, we're going to run over an hour tonight, which I love. It just means we're having fun. Tonight's HJ is going to have the pleasure of going first.
Oh, you're going to love this.
I did love it, actually. HJ is watching.
Here it is. Bob Ross. Happy accidents, betrayal, and grief.
Want to hear something really funny?
Yep, go for it.
Amy and I were contemplating yesterday watching the movie Paint, where Owen Wilson plays Bob
Owen
Ross.
Wilson, yeah.
Yeah, but we decided not to.
When I was looking for that little snippet to give to Chris, that's all you saw were pictures of Owen Wilson dressed up as like Bob Ross. But no, this was actually out in 2021. It's a Netflix, and it's a documentary. And it was so weird because I was like, they were like, we had trouble finding people to interview for this. And I'm like, what are they talking about?
Because they're dead.
No, because the group that was controlling Bob Ross, the Kowalskis, they basically are sue happy. So I have to watch what I'm saying now. At least I'm just going to give an analysis of what Netflix said. So if you have a problem with this, you have to go to Netflix for it, because that's where I get all my information. Anyway, it's just so much fun to watch Bob Ross again.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was the quintessential painter,
weirdo,
the painter for the ages, right?
Yeah.
He taught how many people to paint? Like millions of people, probably.
Sure.
Literally.
Oh yeah.
And like the fact that he was on PBS, like what?
Yeah.
Who goes on PBS? And they showed the house that he was first painting in, and it was just a friggin' house. The reason they had the backdrop on there was because that was the fireplace of the house. And they said, like, at first he would like put up a picture and then he would paint the picture that was there. But after he did it so many times, he would just go off on his own and be like, I'm going to paint a little tree. And also going to put a happy little bush down. Right.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. What else should be here? Maybe there's a happy little tree in there.
Maybe there's a log. There's a log right here and a little bird.
Guess what it's time for? A big tree. You just have to go for it. You have to be very bold when you're painting that big tree. and his son was basically the person they interviewed the most for it. And I didn't know that his son was actually on the show a lot. And as it turns out, like I don't even know how to say it, but all he really cared about was painting in animals. He didn't really care about the money behind it. He didn't care about the products. He just wanted that the products that would be very excellent products, so that when you were painting something, it really popped. And I guess over time, they were making the products poor, and there was some infighting, and then of course Bob Ross ended up getting some kind of cancer, and then he died like that. He died.
It's a happy little story.
He died very quickly, and like that was it. He was over, and it was like that was the end of his empire. Except his empire still lives on.
Yeah, but wasn't there a great big lawsuit?
There's a big controversy.
Who gets his rights?
Well, like he was being taken advantage of, right?
Well, right. So they tried to get him to sign something on his deathbed that would give up all of his naming rights and everything to them, and they never got it, but they took it anyways.
Really?
Yeah, because the way they set up the corporation, it was like him and his wife actually got cancer before he did. By the way, they think he got cancer from all the paint thinner that he was using.
Really?
Probably.
Yeah. It's speculation, but the type of cancer that he had, that's like could be a thing. And I saw it and I was like, how you see those things and you're like, did I watch that? That was like 3 years ago now, and I'm like, if I start watching it and I recognize it, I'm going to stop it. But I didn't remember any of it. It was like an hour and 45 minutes, and just a good nostalgia trip. If you like Bob Ross, definitely watch it. Even if you're not happy with the results of what happened with, him losing money and his son basically not living in poverty, but not living the good life that he probably should have had millions in royalties from all this. It's still an excellent story.
At any time when you were thinking, have I watched this? Did you think, has Chris watched this?
Oh, I already knew you watched.
I watched it 2 years ago.
2021.
Right.
He watched this as soon as it came out.
Yeah. I think I actually brought it up on one of our what are we watching?
Oh, probably.
Or I might have brought it up on our other podcast, Off the Grid. I might have.
Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
I always wanted to know, like, what would I think it would be a great comedy skit if it was like, how would Bob Ross paint like a gang fight?
That would be funny.
It would be a picture of a tree.
And here's a happy little AK-47.
Right.
That does sound like something they would do.
And you really need to find the right color red for blood.
Yeah, maybe there's a happy entrail list right here coming out of his stomach. Let's paint some happy intestines, just straying along the street as he crawls to his death, just to the side there. Okay, what we're watching up next is the Grand Schwabini. What he is watching is
what I have already watched.
Excuse me, what you have already watched is...
Yeah, I don't think I mentioned this one before, Money Heist Berlin.
Well, they had a Spanish one, right?
Well, they're all Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is one that you can't watch because, you have the issue with
dubbing.
I
hate dubbing. I hate it.
Yeah, you just got to get past it.
Okay,
you're missing a lot of good stuff.
Money Heist Berlin on Netflix.
So Money Heist, obviously, is the main one. And there's a couple Money Heists, and Berlin is kind of like the second main character of Money Heist, and this is
I remember that.
And this is him on his own, and it's a good one. Like, you don't need to see Money Heist to see this one. They're like two completely different stories. There isn't I don't think there's any overlapping characters except just Berlin.
Right.
It's really good. They're great heist series, and essentially
drugs.
No, it's usually not drugs involved. No.
You didn't see the first one?
I didn't watch any of them.
Yeah. The first one involved the Federal Bank of Spain, right?
Yeah.
So they're just in it for the money.
Right. I mean, typically they're doing...
Money Heist.
Typically what they're doing is they're usually trying to go after some
Give me your Kimbop.
It's right here.
They're trying to do some they're trying to rob a place that's impossible to rob. You know what I mean? And so they've got to do all these different things. And then he creates a team, with all these different people that have all these different sets of skills, and kind of on their own, they're like a bunch of messes. But when you put them all together, they're like the perfect team.
They got the lasers. You got to go underneath them and over them and all.
They have a tech guy,
right?
They got a guy who can go underwater. They got a guy for everything.
Right.
So it's like Ocean's 11.
No, and in the midst of it, they kind of wrinkle in a love story into it too.
Yeah.
So
you mean there's sex?
Ooh,
yeah.
You said it before I could.
Yeah,
I was too busy working on the
There's
Kimbop.
no love stories in these things. It's more just about the sex.
It's very good. It's one of those where I think it's either 8 or 10 episodes, and it's if you want to watch it for a week and a half, an episode at a time, maybe you watch 2 if you're into it.
Or if you're Chris, Saturday.
Right. Or if you're Chris, you what you do is you watch one episode and then you say, yeah, I couldn't get into it. I don't like that dubbing. I just don't like the dubbing.
That happens.
I don't like it.
All right. The Grand Schwabini Money Heist Berlin on Netflix. See, I thought, because I watched the first Money Heist, wasn't that 2 seasons?
Yeah.
Or 3? I can't remember.
I think it was 2. Yeah. But yeah, the one
I never finished it.
The one where they basically they kind of get the whole world to back them because they're
right.
Kind of anarchy against the government.
Right. Yeah, they take over the government. Yeah, I couldn't even finish it. I watched I did watch the first season, but I got 2 into the second season. I was I can't take the dubbing anymore.
Right. Yeah. The dubbing.
Yeah, exactly. So
I can't watch anything with dubbing.
All right. Here's one that I'm watching that is brand new, is currently one of the top shows on Netflix right now. And I was encouraged to watch it by a friend of our family. And I had heard that it was a little weird and
friends and family,
reindeer,
off color. Yeah.
Gone with it.
Yeah. Amy wants me to watch
Baby
this.
Reindeer.
Listen.
Now, question though, have you followed the rules? Have you finished it?
I have finished it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Then tell us.
Yes. It is supposedly a true story.
Okay.
But it's still a story.
Did you do the fact finding afterwards on Google?
No, because I literally just finished it yesterday, and I was too tired to do any fact finding.
Okay.
Fine. One of the most disturbing things I've ever watched in my life.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really disturbing.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
And
Amy, chime in here.
And it takes a lot for you. Well,
Mark, don't listen.
Chris is saying that it's disturbing. You don't want nightmares, do you?
Yeah, she's going to say something. Mark, don't listen to.
Don't worry, Amy. Mark rarely listens to Chris.
Listen, yeah, right. As I say, listen. It to me, it was just okay. Let me just say that I liked it a lot. It was really good. Okay. Yes. So I'm not saying don't watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing that I'm going to say without being a spoiler, is that it is about a stalker.
Oh boy.
And the stalker is a woman stalking a man.
Yes.
And so you can draw all the conclusions you want from that. But as you start to get into it and you see, and he starts to reveal like the backstory around his life that led him to be vulnerable to this woman who was a stalker, and there's not as much backstory about her life, but enough.
Mm-hmm.
It starts to get really twisted.
Is it going to give Amy nightmares?
Has she watched it yet?
She got nightmares from The Walking Dead.
Don't say too much. Hold your ears or you will ruin the story. Has she watched it already? It sounds to me like she watched it already.
She wants to.
Okay. Well, listen, like I said, will it give her nightmares?
Yes, that's the question.
Well, there's no zombies in it. And it's stuff that happened in real life. And it's disturbing.
If you were scared of a stalker, would you have nightmares?
Well, considering that she's the woman and the person being stalked is the man.
But you could flip it around. You know, okay, Amy's now being stalked by a man.
Is she?
Would she have a nightmare?
Is Amy being stalked?
Only by me.
Yeah.
That sounds
well. Then she's definitely going to have nightmares.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Guys, well, listen. Hey, I got the pork music on. I have no idea
if it's playing,
or not. I have no idea. In the case that you can't hear it and we can't,
technical director has lost.
I don't know what's going on. It's not coming through. It's so weird. So weird. So listen, thanks for listening.
Plug it in.
I did plug it in. Thanks for watching the Sports Porch Black and Gold edition and all over the world on Facebook, LinkedIn, Apple, whatever,
Twitch.
X, Twitch, Instagram. And of course, we drop the podcast right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. YouTube. And catch us on YouTube at the Sports Porch Podcast. I am your technical director, and I am out.
Jump